Well, hello there everybody. Welcome to the YouTube video here on the channel. My name is Emily, also known as Fly with Siren. Today we're here at Leeds Bradford Airport in North Yorkshire. The Rose of Yorkshire, I believe it was called at one point, or is called. There it is, centre of the airfield, 500 metres away. And we're in a rather gorgeous looking Cessna C182 in MSFS. As you can see by the fact that this isn't a complete stuttery mess at the moment, although at least it doesn't look it before it goes into OBS. Although the bitrate does not like that ground texture. And let's hop in the cockpit. We're going to be flying up to Eshott today. This is sort of like, I'm role playing this as being me buying the aeroplane and flying it home basically. So we'll open those two up. As you can see, we've got a brand new engine in the thing on 00 hours. And we're going to get ready. So, I'm just going to get that one. Can I get a checklist on that? Of course I can. You know what I'm going to do? This, because it's my first time on type, we'll do that. Sorry, I should have gone clear prop. Better late than never, right? So we've got, that is functional. Tours is testing itself, which is fine. I'm going to be in the aircraft by myself today, so I'm going to be controlling everything. Take the taxi lights off since we're still on the ramp. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the checks up. Should be here. We'll do everything from basically Mac drops onward. Oh, thank you so much for Carenado for not filling that in. That's fine. So I'm just going to do this to the best of my knowledge. So parking brake is set. There we go. I'm going to turn the desktop audio down. And okay, less than 30 drops aside. We will leave that as that. Flaps, that preset for departure. What I'll do is I'm also going to just preset my autopilot to an extent. We'll scroll the altitude up to 6,500 feet, which is our cruise altitude today, for the trip up to Eshott. I'll show you a vague map of where we're flying. VFR map. That's a vague area, so that's Newcastle there, that's Eshott just to the north. Cool. I don't need, well, what I'll do is I will accept that in there. What we'll do as well is, I think heading. How would I preset a heading bug in a G1000 aircraft? Using this I would. So altitude, we preset at 6.5k. Heading bug. So it's, I believe it was 12 degrees. Do I have a nav log? Nav log. To Leeming, it's 012 for 11 miles. Right. Heading 012. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say that we're happy to taxi now. So release the parking brake, signal our guy, and we'll throttle up slightly. I'm just going to pirouette straight out the stand. Just do a quick toe brake check. Yep, brakes work. Taxi lights now on. And what we'll do is we'll just, what I am actually going to do now, never ever do, contact Leeds ground. And can be depart straight out. We'll read that back and we'll get out of here. So it was acknowledge taxi clearance. We can go to an external camera and enjoy this little. I keep forgetting. Wait, where's the pilot gone? Whoopsie. Okay, this thing's steering badly. Anyway, that's November 4. There we go, I should now be visible. Although I'm the boring Carenado dude. It's a shame they chose not to support the native system within MSFS. You can see that the aircraft taxis beautifully. Looks gorgeous actually, does the 182. I really enjoy flying it. Cockpit. There we go, Alpha's in front of us. So it's Alpha, Delta, and then straight up from Alpha onto Delta 3. I wonder, is there a upper position? That'll do. It's putting my perspective on the world anyway, because I'm quite tall. November 1. You see, 3-2's facing northbound out of here, so actually, yeah, I'm gonna pretend we didn't just make a gross navigational error on the ground. So it was Delta. You know what I may do? Oh no, Delta. So Delta's a right turn here. Pop that out, and cockpit camera. I'm getting used to my setup still here. So it's going to be a right-hander out here. We're not coming back to Leeds, don't worry. Although that feels incredibly loud to me in my ears. Flight model still feels a bit weird. And I can't place it, it just feels like sort of driving a ship around it and then going hard left, hard right, hard left, you know, and I'm actually making some, I suppose when I make the more gentle input, it's fine. So we did mag checks. Because the checklist doesn't work and I've not got one at hand, I'm just going to go a bit manual here. Let me think. Transponder. On. Squawk 7000. So I'm going to go back to clear it. You know what, I'm going to just detune that radio and I'm going to go flying regardless. I'm a little rebel like that. Just do that, and then they can't talk to us. So we've checked the approach, we're clear, got a crosswind from the left, which we're going to take into account. I believe the 182 is 60, 80 V1, well 60 knots is rotate, 80 knots is climb, so 65 is climb speed. Alright, let's go. So, throttling up. Let's go. $60 knots. Cross check. There it is, 65. Whoa. Tapping the toe brakes. Got to climb straight out to 1,000 and then turn on course. That probably should be a bit more loud. Probably about that level, because it's really quite unpleasantly loud actually in my ears right now. So airfield here is about 400, so we'll go up to 1,500 and then turn on course. Looks gorgeous. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yorkshire. I need to look around a bit. hello wind turbine. Just pitch for 10 degrees. You can see there's some high terrain. So we'll actually go to 1,000 and then do our turn. What I'll do is I'll lower the nose to about 5 degrees. Let the aircraft accelerate and go flapless. You'll see the VSI will drop to nearly 0. And then we will be on course. And then we'll roll straight out. Just trim down a little. Okay, so a bit of back pressure actually. And I'm just going to pull back to around 20 thingies. So I climb out towards 6,500. We are just going to use the GPS route today. Alright. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. There's Leeds behind us. That's one of the things I can't get over with MSFS. It's just how awesome the scenery looks in this game. So I'm just going to fly along this. Our next waypoint is Leeming, or LEE. It's the Leeming TACAN, which means we can't actually get navigational. Well, we can get range from it, and that's it. It's effectively acts as a DME if you don't have a TACAN equipment on board. I am going to do something a bit weird and go yoink. And just do this for purposes of the cruise, so that we're not all blowing our eardrums out. What we'll do as well is AP, nav, and yeah, that'll do. So what we'll do is go nav mode, which is armed. If I then set, is it that one there? No. On an alt, so I'll back out of that then. CDI, GPS. There we go, the aircraft's now going to take over itself and guide itself onto a turn on course. Now that we're clear of the aerodrome, actually strobe lights can be on, landing lights off, taxi lights off, fuel pump off now, pitot heat, that's going to be off because there's no visible signs of icing, and we don't actually have a thermometer in this thing, but basically there's no humidity, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I'm probably going to be recording these a week in advance, so yeah, hopefully you've had a wonderful week. It has been interesting for me actually. I'm going to just turn the audio right back down, there we go. If I turn it down for me and then up for you guys a little, there we go, so that's now going to be quite loud, but I'm also going to be audible. Yeah, it has been an interesting week. Yeah, I finally, I don't want to talk about my work too much because I work for the government, and you know, actually OAT is -7 degrees, I just spotted it there, but again there's no humidity, so I'm not too bothered about it, that at all. But as I say, I work for the government, and I just feel like, as much as the majority of you probably don't care, you know, and you'll understand that, you know, as much as the government isn't popular, I do my best in my job every day, and that's what counts here. By the way, we're at 60 FPS, pretty much locked, which is just amazing to me. But you know, but there will be some people who, you know, would take it upon themselves to make me feel rubbish about myself, basically. And I'm not about that malarkey. So yeah, basically, I'm actually arm. No, okay. We'll climb at 400 feet per minute. It should deteriorate our speed a little more. Which is fine. We're now in a clean aircraft. Probably pull that back a little. Pull that back a little. whatever reason, it says like tanks are full even though I set them to about a third gas, but fine. So yeah, you've got the, should we see a white horse actually on one of these mountains? One of these hills, sorry, they're not really mountains, are they? What's our range to run to Leeming? So if I... So that'd be Linton Ooze, so that'd be the Ooze, or one of those would be the Ooze. Chisholm River, that runs through York, of course. Just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? It's a shame that, yeah, from high altitude, that would look spot on. So we'll go for, actually scroll that up to 6.5k. So we're at 1,000 to go, but we'll do 6.5k. There we go. Nice fast climb as well, which is good. So yeah, we're squawking 7,000 because of VFR traffic today. 299.02 on the bar F. Yeah, so far so good. But yeah, so why am I recording a video like this without my PC imploding? Well, good news, folks. I finally bit the bullet and did an upgrade. I've upgraded to an i7 7700K, which is probably the best CPU I can put in my PC. You know, given everything, which, you know, without, well, best CPU I can put in my PC without replacing the motherboard and all, you know, basically I have to replace the motherboard, the cooler, all kinds of stuff. So that's, you know, the best CPU I can do for at least for, you know, the next sort of year or so. But it runs brilliantly. Most games end up locked at 60 FPS, including MSFS. Yeah, I'm so pleased with it. I'm going to do a proper PC tour. It's not new and shiny like most people's are, but yeah. When I do, I'm doing a tidy up this weekend, so I'll probably be able to do a like a proper room tour, like with everything. I love the 182. Actually, we can set the camera to the lower seat. Slide down the seat a little, get a little comfier. This is actually quite realistic to what flying felt like to me. I'm 6'4" tall, but when I was grabbed shooter flying out of RAF Leeming, so I'm gonna go straight out the top of the airfield I've flown out of the most. It's a you know, sort of cockpit person. Then yeah, this is actually what it felt like. I was like craning my neck to see over the dashboard. Yeah. You know, I've got stains on the screen somehow. That's not a stain on my screen, that's a stain on the bloody aeroplane screen. Yeah, that needs to get a wash. Yeah. No, this is really cool. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. Using very little of the CPU as well, which is awesome. Now look at that. It's actually probably one of the dams in this area. Probably that one over there looks, that shape over there looks familiar. How far are we out of Leeming? Too far south, so it won't be here yet. But was basically one of the things one of the pilots did with me is we're down at like 500 feet. Like it probably felt a lot lower than it was when I was flying out of Leeming. But yeah, really good fun. I honestly, I've been watching a lot of sort of aircrew interviews content. A channel I thoroughly recommend you go and check out if you're. And if you're looking to hear about what it's like to actually, you know, do this amazing hobby for a living. And I was listening to Matty Hickson, who is an absolute legend. I've sort of got two real aviation idols at the moment. Her and Caroline Page, who are people I thoroughly can't recommend enough that you go and check them out. They are awesome. They are just entirely awesome. Yeah. So she's entirely awesome, and so is Maddie Hicks. And I'll link to both of them in the description. Both of them have written some really good books. Cass Page is the first transgender officer in the British Armed Forces, and she was a nav on Phantoms and then a helicopter nav on the Merlins, which I'm actually a bit of a Merlin fan. Like, I just think they look amazing as helicopters. yeah, and she was, yeah, I say and for me, it actually might have been that lake over there, but for me, what was really cool about her is, it's something that I don't hear mentioned very much, but it's representation. What do I mean by that? Well, RuPaul's Drag Race, is probably the most well-known representation of trans people in the world right now. Entirely fair enough. Some people love it, right? I don't. I find it incredibly boring. And I can't, I guess it's because I can't empathise with anyone on that. I can't, no one on there is like me. Whereas, we're talking about a woman who, or Kaz, I'm calling her Kaz because that's what her Twitter handle is. Caroline, I'll call her both, why not? Or Mom Page, there we go, Flight of 10 Page. Yes, she, I feel like I feel like I sort of I don't want to say I understand because I don't believe I do, honestly. I'm just going to throttle back because we've leveled off. But, I guess I can see a lot more of a similarity between me and her than I can between, someone on RuPaul's Drag Race. I can't sing, I can't dance, I'm pretty ugly. I'm not calling her ugly, but you know what I mean. My interest is aviation and trains. But, it would have been that dam over there. Flying a shooter around, down that like that. Really good fun. That's what I've been doing lately. I think I've also finally reached the point with my flight sims. Which airfield is that? That is a closed one. You can see there's some farm buildings on it. Rather hard to land when you've got farm buildings on your runway. But if we peek over, I'm going to go next on the camera for it actually. There you go, leaving. The AEF flight that I flew with would use that ramp there, and then we'd taxi out. Yeah, I used to take off roughly southbound out of there, or when I did it, took off southbound. Also, a really cool thing was that on the last flights I did, there was a CP-144 Aurora parked. I think it was actually roughly in that area there. And I'm like, that's it, that's an Aurora, that's so cool. Yeah. I'm very easily pleased. I am going to grab a screenshot. I'm going to do bonk, bonk, bonk. There we go. That's probably going to be a thumbnail. If I can make it look convincing. No, I don't want that. I want cockpit. So yeah, we're just going to be, we're penetrating the mats of, actually we're probably above the mats for the military air transition zone. Basically you have to call the tower and ask permission to fly through. Leaving towers in about, that is the tower building there, I believe. But yeah, one of my coolest IRL aviation experiences was in the circuit at Leaving. I'm flying with someone who I now know was the station commander. And it was my last flight as an air cadet, and I thought, and it was a rubbishy day, so I thought, you know what, fair enough. I've managed to, I've had a 5-year career, never had flying cancelled, never had tech issues, anything like that. Interesting, little marker. Never had tech issues, anything like that, cancel flying. You know what, I've had a good innings. This is my last, for my last thing. I'll just be the passenger. I didn't actually say anything to him, but as we were on downwind, he says, so we took off. As we're about there, he says, I'll let you take control until the base. Like, okay. Got about there, turned base, I have control, landed. Okay, you have control. And then I'm flying around, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to take over, he's going to take over. He's going to take over, he must take over. And then Hawk was coming, so he goes, okay, just extend. And then we end up landing. And I didn't land. He took over control from me about 100 feet off the ground, which was actually such a massive confidence boost for me, aviation-wise, because I've always been a sim aviator. I've never been able, outside of the air cadets, you know, there was no way I'd be able to afford either private flying lessons or, you know, to go flying with anyone basically. Because out of Newcastle, you're looking at £200 an hour for flying, and it's not that, you know, they charge a fortune. I'm just gonna crack the car flat button. It's that you know, there's just a lot of costs involved, and I get that. But you know, that doesn't make it any more or less affordable to me. But you're doing it with the air cadets, which is such an amazing confidence boost. That this thing I'd been doing, you know, I would say a couple of hundred hours a year really in the sim. Some of those skills were transferable, you know, to reality, and that was really quite special actually. So yeah, basically, if you're on the fence about joining the air cadets, give it a go. That is what I'll always say to people. You know, with the air cadets, there's, you know, if one day you go, nah, not for me anymore, you can just leave. You know, you're not signing a commitment for 10 years. Honestly, just give it a go. So yeah, you know, that was always my thing in the air cadets. Always give it a go. If I decide after giving it a go it's not for me, then it's not for me. And you know, there were activities I did, and I came down and I was pooing my trousers because I was absolutely terrified because it wasn't for me. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. So tracking towards Newcastle, 40 miles to run now. ETE. It says 1931, but the time in game's like 1 PM. That's not accurate. So we're doing, let's see, do a ground speed on this. Ground speed readout. As you can see, I'm brand new to flying with this. Menu. Oh great, they haven't simulated it that much. Lol. Back. Insert. What we can do, let's just turn that off. Yeah, we can. There we go. But yeah, it's alright. I'm enjoying this little trip. Yeah, 14:45 local. And it's saying we're going to arrive at 18:53 local, which I disagree with quite heavily. I mean, let's assume we're doing our true airspeed. So really, yeah. Let's assume we're doing TAS is our ground speed right now. I think the wind's coming from that direction, so if anything, yeah. Wait, no, it was coming from that direction, so it's, a little bit of headwind component. A couple of knots, you know, but it'll be within the errors of my calculations. So 35 miles is... So, basically we're doing 2 miles every minute. So that means something about 13 minutes flying time. The way I'm calculating that, 120 knots is, you know, basically 60 knots is a mile a minute, nautical mile a minute. 120 knots, double that, so it's 2 miles a minute. And it's 36 miles, so you can effectively half the 36. So it's about 13 minutes flight time now. But we'll be picking up some of the local landmarks to the northeast, and I'll be fangirling quite a bit. What I can do as well, for a bit of training, yes, I'm eating M&M's whilst I fly. They must be annoying food for a YouTuber to be snacking on. $2.5, and then it's 114. What does it do? DME mode nav 1. Newcastle, there we go, it's picked it up. So, Newcastle, ADF off. Where's my DME indication? What I'll do is we can actually do, just for fun, is fly this leg on radio navigation. So what I'll do is CDI VOR1. So that means it doesn't actually see it yet, which is interesting. Suppose okay, fine. Scooch up in the seat a bit. Let's say yeah, Newcastle's beyond the radio horizon. Interesting, we just can't see it yet. That's fine. What we'll do is we can go back over to GPS and then just leave it on GPS control for the time being and restate the autopilot into nav mode just to fly that the magenta line. Yeah, after this week though, I finally feel sort of a bit more recharged from my work. Because basically I've been barely doing my job. Because I've done it all. Just due to the nature of my job, we have what's called a caseload. So basically I have 900 customers who are my sole responsibility. And you know, and that's quite a bit of pressure. But what I do is I remember actually going over that bridge. I remember that area. But what I do is, you know, I'll always make sure that, you know, all the customer stuff is done, and I sort of went on a bit of a blitz with my customers to make sure I got everything done. And now I can generally finish my sort of day's work by about lunchtime, and after that I'm helping colleagues out, which I actually find really relaxing. So yeah, it's all right. Yeah. So you can see we're getting quite a bit of crosswind component here, because if we're still flying down the magenta line, you can see our true heading will be straight down there, but we're just being blown quite hard across. Behind us, that's Teesside Airport. Over in that area there, vaguely, no, hang on. In that area there, that's Thornaby Depot from Train Sim World. If you follow me, yes. So actually, making sense of my YouTube channels. I'm going to talk about this today. So making sense of my YouTube channels, I have 3 channels now. I have Northern Princess Productions. That's going to be trains and variety gaming. I have Fly with Siren. That's going to be aviation stuff. That's going to be flying aeroplanes. And I also have Emily Jane, the Cosplay Queen, which is going to be my cosplay YouTube channel. I've been sort of pushing myself to make some videos for all 3 on an ongoing basis. But I say I've just been that tired, and that I've been feeling just that drained, you know, coming home from work, because, as I said, you know, it is, you know, my job is not easy. So yeah, looks gorgeous around here, around these here parts. Unfortunately, you know, it's not perfect, but yeah, like it's a damn sight lot better than it used to be, and that's what I appreciate about this. Got the coast over there. That's Middlesbrough to the south. To the north, there'll probably be, you know, Hartlepool. Let's go external and have a look over. That's definitely a golf course. What else could that be other than a golf course? Yeah. Actually, I think we'll probably go quite near to or over the top of Washington. No, not Washington DC, but the original Washington, actually. Looks gorgeous, my aeroplane. Do you like my registration I went for? G-Siren. That G-Siren. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that'll be Port of Tees. They actually decommission oil rigs. I think it's in somewhere around here. I know it's on the north side. I think it's probably in this area. I remember seeing a video of it, and I couldn't actually like place it from my own knowledge, based on the surrounding scenery. So we've now passed out of the county of Yorkshire, out of the North Riding of Yorkshire, I should say, and we're now flying over County Cleveland. We'll probably soon, if not already, entering County Durham. I need to... You know what I need? I need one of those apps that, like, places you on Google Maps. Please don't crash, game. I know you crashed on me yesterday. I'll be upset if you crash. Nope. Good. Yeah, that is the coast. I think. No, it's not. Can't be. No, that is one of the other routes for it. I know. Yeah. Although we can't be that far south of Durham now. could actually be Bishop Auckland. Yeah, that's what that is. That's Bishop Auckland. That's the... Yeah, so Shildon's behind us with the big railway museum. Yep, that's the NRM. That's the NRM North. So that's where the Weird Al Railway is. And you know, I actually had a Christmas job to work on. I was going to be an elf for their Christmas trains. I've done all kinds of stuff. Well, nearly done all kinds of stuff, I should say. That was before I got the job for Dovetail. If anyone knows, by the way, how to get rid of this, it really annoys me. I want to get rid. Like, when I'm external, I just want to be enjoying the view. You know, I don't want to be looking at all the stuff. I wonder. External view, no. Default, no. What I can do as well is that. That does give like a nice... you see, I'm trying to orientate myself in a part of the world I'm just not familiar with. Yeah. No, that's the train line again, I think. So that'll be Durham. We'll go and have a look at Durham. If I do showcase... That is actually good for the thumbnail. Yoink. 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 See, I catch that before it starts putting things back in, basically. It's just, that is always going to be stuck in, unfortunately. Yeah, so we're overhead Durham. Yeah, that'll be Durham in that area. I'm not going to get too close to it. We'll do some proper flight seeing in the future. Part of the UK update is supposedly Durham Cathedral is now modelled, which I've got a way to look at this better. Yeah, it does work. Hey. Oh, look at that. I can glitch from my head outside that. I've lost Durham. There it is. I think. Yep, that's Durham. Yep. That's where I went for the audition for the elf role. Okay, interestingly, I don't see Durham Cathedral, which is in that area there. Even though it's supposed to be modelled. Good cake, lads. Good cake. Right. I may not have the UK update installed then. If we don't see the time bridges, then it's confirmed. Ah, look, it's a landing camera for me to use. Yeah, this is a good camera for giving me a good look out. So that'll be... not sure where that is. Yeah, we should probably come roughly over the top of Washington, actually. And then, so there's a Nissan factory there. And what used to be Sunderland Airport. And that's why there's a Vulcan there. VOR1's still not working. Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, it's fine. We're going to just use the GPS. We got that going for us today. So Newcastle's going to be roughly on the nose. That could actually be the airfield generator in there now. That's the terminal building, I think. Yes, that's the town in front of us. Wow. So we're really on the top of Durham and we can see into Newcastle, which is awesome. Newcastle, which that'll be the Weir. Yeah, that's the Weir. No, that'll be the Tyne. Yeah, that's the Tyne, because that'll be Stopswood. My house is in roughly that area. My work is in roughly that area. Cool. I wonder, like, the buildings at my work are quite famously big. I wonder if I could land, like, on top of the roof sort of thing. I don't know. Probably not in this time. this was planned as a 35-minute flight when I'm 40 minutes into the video. Lol. I'm going to accelerate slightly to a quick cruise. I mean, it's 14 miles to run after this, but yeah, so we've got 25 miles to go, which is, again, we're accelerating slightly, but, you know, about 12 minutes airtime left total. Yeah, flying from Leeds to Newcastle. So nearest runway, 2.3 miles away, EGQP. Not sure what that actually is, EGQP. Yeah, I guess Washington will be east of here. Well, that's Sunderland, Washington. High Flats Farm. Cool. I mean, so if we had an engine failure right now, we could just go well. We'd probably be struggling to lose the altitude to get in there, if I'm honest. I think that would be Nissan, actually. No, that's not right for Washington to be Nissan. So you come off the... No, you're going down there. No, that's Tyne Yard, that's way too... Yeah. That's way too north to be Nissan. Nissan's over in that area. That could be even it there. No, wait, hang on. That's... So if that's the T's, you go out of Tyne Tunnel, which is over in that area, so it's that there, and then the Vulcan will be roughly there. There you go. Yeah, Tyne bridges are in. Sam must have the UK update installed. Because there's the Tyne bridge is there, which is now fully modelled apparently. We've also got Dunstan Staithes in this area, which is what used to be one of the biggest wooden structures in Europe, or the biggest wooden structure in Europe. St James's Park. I live in sort of roughly that area. I recognise the hospital. I walk past that on a semi-regular basis. One of the really cool things about these fields here, well, that one there, that one there, that one there to a lesser extent? No, not that one there. That one there, that one there. But those fields, these fields in this area. I actually have to Town Moor, so yeah, you do get it there as well. You actually get cows grazing there because the land is owned by the Freemasons of Newcastle, and they basically farm it, which is really cool. So like, probably not from this month, but probably from next month, there's a pretty reasonable chance of me actually meeting a cow on my way to work. Which, for the fact that I live in, you know, what isn't a particularly small urban area, you know, it's pretty, you know, this, yeah. If you were to take into account probably North and South Tyneside, you're looking close to 1 million people. But I can still meet a cow on my way to work, which is quite cool. And that's Blythe. I used to live at Blythe as well. That is not a good place to be. Let's get rid of my nearests. There's Newcastle. I've got the Orbex Newcastle scenery installed, which is why the firehouse is no longer a big hangar. The fire station. You've got Central Station there. Oh, actually, could I be mistaken? Nope. That's the Millennium Bridge. That'll be Tyne Bridge there. You can see it's not represented at all. And the Swing Bridge isn't represented either. Which is a bit of a shame. Newcastle, hey! I've got to say, normally when I've flown in, you fly up the coast. What happens, sorry, is you fly inland, and then you fly roughly over that area, then you see the mouth of the Tyne, you fly up the coast to a place called St Mary's Lighthouse, which is roughly that area there. You then turn finals, come down, and then you land at Newcastle, which is there. St Mary's, sorry, it's about there. And I love it because I can literally, like, I'm sitting there and I'm just watching, and I know exactly, you know, where we are, where the, I'm going to take a screenshot because my work's actually in that and I can make it out. Yeah, I'm not pointing it out, but yeah, it's really nice. Also, taking off from 07 end, you take off and obviously you blast off in that direction. My high school is sort of vaguely visible as you take off. It is going to be That's Hartford. So it's roughly in that area. It was a bright white building, so it's really quite easy to pick out. And I remember seeing that being like, point middle finger out of aircraft window sort of thing on the way home. Sorry, on the way, to go for the Czech Republic or somewhere on holiday. Hopefully, once lockdown ends and air travel does somewhat resume, I'll be able to visit Newcastle and do some plane spotting. I want to visit both that part of the airfield there, and there's also a good place to spot from here. So because the aircraft are coming straight in past you on a T5 day, it's a nice little park you can walk around and watch the aeroplanes at the same time. Yeah, that is Newcastle, alright. What are the aircraft in town? We've got what looks like an Air Transat. No, United. United actually used to sit on this side, in fact. Jet 2. Not sure what that is. Another Jet 2. Cool. I also went to Newcastle College and did like a year in that building there. Worst year of my life. Well, not that far being the worst year of my life, actually. Pre-2020 it definitely would have been. There we go. Oh, well, actually that desktop audio is looking quite good in the Eshott camera. That's the Opencast. Yeah, you can see I know this area really well because, as I say, my high school is... Come on. Basically, when you go on a bus to my dad's, you go down there, around there. That's the high school there. I'm actually going to go and have a look over there because I've not seen it in a while. So, autopilot off. And we'll drop down a little because 6,500 feet is quite high. There we go. So hang on, I am... Cool, basically my aiming point's under the nose. Oh, cool. Now I've got a secondary running route. Another really cool story. That's the East Coast Main Line again. It goes over... That's Plessy Woods. It actually goes on a bridge over that. But that's the East Coast. And yeah, it's one of my favourite places to drive and trains in. And I can quite clearly remember sitting in an English class, looking out and seeing would have been an XGNER liveried 91 set going up the line. Just again, memories. So this is the Blythe. That's Blythe there. Let's see, can I pick up? So I used to live in those streets in the middle of Blythe. Really not a good place to be. Like, we're talking, mind you though, I say not a good place to be. Yes, living there's not pleasant, but no one actually ever said a bad word to me. About being trans, and that's quite telling, I think, of, it's an area that is legendary for being rough, but, they didn't care, and that's actually quite special to me. Yeah, that's my high school. That's the first school next to it, so that is my form class for the majority of my time in the high school. I can see my dad's house from here as well. I'm not going to point to it though because, yeah, that's a bit silly. That's the middle school. I nearly went there. We have the massive playing field at the back, and that's a farmer's field. You can actually walk across the bottom. What we'll do is I will power up again. Not that much, but just enough to maintain straight and level. And then once we get the other side of the this sort of urban area, we'll do some stalls and some practice maneuvers like that. Ensure that all contaminants check. Or shoot seat is locked. Check. Rogerino. Okay, clearance done. So that is Atley Park. So that's Atley Park there. That is an old pit heap actually. That they planted a forest on top of. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll do a 360 here, and then we'll face that way and do a stall. That'll be boomer surge. Just shows how quickly you can turn on one of these. Meow. Okay, power off stall. Coming up. 15 degrees nose up pitch. Holding the stick pressure there. Come on, the stall horn. And stall horn kicks in. And releasing back pressure on the stick. Throttling up. And letting the aircraft take over. Recovering by 3,000. Boom! That was pretty textbook. Okay. What else can we do for a bit of fun? I don't think the 182 is limited from doing arrows. If it is, yeah, happy with that. Fuel pump can actually go on for this. So I'm going to put forward pressure on the stick, accelerate up to 140, and stick back. Full power. Should have been in originally. Okay, this is going to be a high alpha stall. Stick going forward. Unloading. That was pretty uncomfortable, but I could just see we weren't going to make that loop. I think we're probably a little bit too heavy with all that fuel on board. We do probably do barrel roll, no problem. Woo! Terrain ahead. Pull up. Absolutely fine. So, ahead of us, that's the Cheviot. There's Cheviot with the flat top. The second Tours Mountain, which is pretty much right next to it, is Eshott. I think actually we're looking at this. Yeah, no, Eshott. That's right. Yeah. Eshott second tallest. I've been at the top of Eshott. Never actually been up Cheviot. I think there's a plane crash on top of it. A plane crash sign. It's obviously in the war. Everything always happened in the war, didn't it? During the course of war happening, during that time, navigation not the greatest thing in the world, not the most precise thing. Yeah, I guess it was a time in aviation, really, wasn't it, when it was still a bit dangerous. AP down. Arm. So yeah, it was still a bit dangerous back then, and well, a bit heavily dangerous, I guess. And yeah, they were landing. I think it was an American bomber crew going back to a base in Cumbria after aborting a bombing raid. Thought they were over Cumbria, weren't. Started descending, head them out. If anyone knows how to get rid of those pop-ups, please let me know in the chat. That is actually really quite frustrating. Okay, when we get to about 5k is 2.5 miles. Yeah, I'll just drop the power and we'll let it drop like a brick. Runway orientation you can make out. Got the north-south runway, the east-west. We're going to land on the east-west. We're going to land. I'm going to use ATC and I'm going to speak to Newcastle and get their weather. Actually, no, we'll be able to get the weather at Eshott because they have a weather station. I'm used to Eshott being uncontrolled, so therefore we wouldn't have it. Nearest airport list. Eshott. Okay, I'm going to speak to Newcastle Approach and get some weather from them first then.
Newcastle Approach Law. Sierra India Romeo November in time 4 miles southeast of Edinburgh Foxtrot Lima.
Well, no, we're being blown from the right, so it's... yeah.
Sierra India Romeo November Newcastle Approach. Call sign 761.
Disregard, we don't need you. So we don't care, we're going to land, so we're being blown that way, so we need to hook around and land from that side. So autopilot off, throttle back, and let drop like a brick. So what I'll do is, actually should I turn the flight directors off in this aircraft? One of my pretty cool experiences actually at Eshott again. Eshott's another place that sort of shaped me for aviation, I think. So, forward, forward. Yeah, both fully forward. Flaps out at the moment. Or flaps off, sorry. Sorry, throttle out, flaps up at the moment. What we can do is... See, it gets a bit loud out there, so I'll keep that shut for the time being. But you can... you can probably have a good game of darts, like just lawn darts from up here. Yeah. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna throttle up, so nose up, so we can bleed some speed, get us down to, so set 80 knots and I'll go full flat. There we go. And then nose down. Not quite that much nose down, maybe that much nose down. Just means we drop down a bit quicker. And we'll go for the landing camera, which we're already in. See, look at that scenery in front of us. That looks amazing. I'm going to be doing lots of screenshots via Steam. I'll probably post them to Twitter or something. So, we're now trying to put a lump of power, about a third, just enough to sustain us. That's the A1 motorway, by the way. When I talk motorway, it's the A1, which is the primary link road. Well, it's the link road via the east from London to Edinburgh. Sorry, it's the link road from London to Edinburgh. You've got is it the M6 on the east coast? That runs from London to Glasgow, sorry, the west coast? That runs London to Glasgow? So yeah, we've got to park over in that area there. So park, vacate, turn left, backtrack in. I'm basically briefing you as I'm coming up with ideas in my head. Bit of power, we're getting a little on the low side. I'm not going to straighten out, so I can get a bit of centerline pride going on. Have I got an aircraft on the road in front of me? No, that's a vehicle for some reason. He's cleared. More than enough energy. I'm confident. Okay, power. Bit of a bump, that's fine. Oh, giddy God, okay, that was incredibly embarrassing. Although you do see cars driving because a lot of the aircraft storage is down there. Right, flaps up. We'll vacate up here. There we go. So we're now clear the runway. I'll pull that back, flaps up. We'll go transponder to standby. VFR code 7000 back, and we'll just do a taxi in. Pretty chilly day up here at Eshott, but that done. So I'm going to turn my taxi light on, my strobe light off, fuel pump off. Well, yeah, we'll just do a taxi in. I didn't do much of the landing crap there. That was a pretty diabolically bad landing, but you know what? It's a first for everything, right? Across the runway, we're clear on the approach. Cross over onto the grass. And we're just going to taxi on the grass. As you can see, this is the grass taxiway at Eshott. Looks lovely, that volumetric grass up close. That volumetric glass, yep, that's what they call it these days. And I want to go to my external camera just for a bit of parking orientation. Oh, we are ways away. You see, I've never actually been up this part of the airfield before. So I thought we were down there already. What is that car? Are those just cars driving about here to kill us? You know what? Once again, they don't actually usually drive up the runway, but oh, I've got fuel bowser here. They've actually got a fuel bowser IRL, which is quite interesting because basically all of the fuel stuff is to the left. I think we land with a massive tailwind component. Fuck's sake. Okay, well, we'll look over there as we taxi past. But yeah, basically all the fuel stuff's on the left and all the engine stuff's on the right, which I actually find pretty cool. It's like, you know, it's just a level of organisation. You're also not allowed to overfly Eshott village on the approach. Remember that from the plates? Actually, I'm going to stop, get my showcase car. Showcase! Yoink, yoink. No, yoink, yoink. There we go, that should be fine. Yoink. We'll just park on the tarmac. Taxi light off. Beacon light will remain on for the time being. Parking brake. That's set. Car flaps fully closed. Flaps, they're up. Mixture, so yeah, prop fully out. Throttling up. That out. That to off. That not simulated apparently. Fascinating. Throttle fully out. Out, out, out. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Off. No. No. Off. Nav light off. Beacon off. Off, off, off. That's off. Golf Romeo November landed. Shutting down Eshott. Thanks for the service. Here we go. So, let's open that up. Actually fully open the door up. And disembark. So folks, hopefully you enjoyed that little video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to see more from me. That was a bit of an emotional flight actually. Well, not emotional, but it was quite good fun. When I do that, I'm going to static elements on, external power off, tow bar off, pilot off. Pilot door's going to remain open. Open up baggage door so I can get my overnight bag. Get rid of that. There we go. So we've delivered G Siren to her new home up at Eshott, which is where I say she's going to reside for the time being. My plan is to use this aircraft for sort of tour flights. You know, one of the places we'll be going to visit will be Dundee, because I've got the scenery for there as well. We're just going to be visiting all over the UK, looking at scenery, you know, all kinds of cool little things. That's awesome. Hang on. Yeah, that should be a good screenshot for I drop it down. That is, I love that. That looks amazing to me. Like, you know, for those of you not in the know, I've been playing flight sims since Flight Sim 98. One of my first memories is trying not to crash into a skyscraper in Chicago. This was pre 9/11, so it was okay to joke around with things like that. Yeah, that was honestly really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys did too. Thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.